This is the EWN Podcast Network.
Welcome to Late Boomers, our podcast guide to creating your third act with style, power, and impact. Hi, I'm Kathy Worthington.
And I'm Mary Elkins. Join us as we bring you conversations with successful entrepreneurs, entertainers, and people with vision who are making a difference in the world.
Everyone has a story, and we'll take you along for the ride on each interview, recounting the journey our guests have taken to get where they are, inspiring you to create your own path to success. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Kathy Worthington. Welcome to our new episode of Late Boomers. Today we have as our special guest, Melisa Caprio, author, photographer, radio host, and creator of Postcards to the Universe, a global movement for manifestation.
And I'm Mary Elkins. Melisa gives workshops on photography, art, transformation, and manifestation. She guides her clients on how to create a unique postcard to aid them on the power of creative intention. She also hosts a weekly live radio show. Welcome, Melisa.
Thank you, both of you. Thank you, Kathy, and thank you, Mary. I'm excited to be here. It's so nice to be on this end of the mic.
Yeah.
Great to have you.
Because we know you host your own. So
yeah, this is my favorite thing to talk about, manifestation. So
fabulous. Yeah. Tell us about your background and how you came to discover this path.
Well, it's funny because I mentioned this in my book, but I've said this so many times. So a lot of pain got me to this path. I was doing something completely different. I'm a visual artist, is my background, fine art photography. I had a photo gallery for a few years. I used to do darkroom work and I would rent out the dark rooms. And then I working with special needs children, doing therapy with dolphins. I did that for many years. Oh. My sister who passed away last year, she's special needs, and that's how I got into working with doing that kind of work. And I was living in the Florida Keys, and I was working at this facility doing the therapy, photographing therapy with the dolphins. And at the same time, the job was ending. They were leaving. So I was going to be leaving the job. I was married at the time, and my marriage was crumbling, and that was falling apart. So I had to leave my job, and left the relationship in a month's period, in a 30-day period.
All the most stressful things.
I can't imagine all that at once.
Exactly. So, the home that I owned, it was just, so I was in so much emotional pain, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't want to go back to commercial photography. It just wasn't feeding me anymore. I wanted to do something where I could be creative. And then, of course, it was the million questions. Why? Why does this happen to me? I'm a good person. I don't understand the job that I love. The relationship is falling apart. I'm moving. So I was in so much pain that I started doing some inner work. And that's when I started reading more, and I learned about this thing called the law of attraction and how we attract things into our lives. And that was good and bad. The good was, okay, well, that means I have control over what I want to bring into my life. But that was also, in a way, I had to deal with and reconcile, well, what about me attracted this, specifically the kind of relationship that I was in, because it was not healthy. There was verbal abuse, so I had to really do some deep digging to kind of get to okay, what's going on? And I picked up books I had already known who Wayne Dyer was and who Louise Hay was. And I was already kind of reading that, but I wasn't really immersing myself in that work until after all this happened. And that's when I started listening, and I was really kind of understanding the messages, which led me to other, that's okay, to other authors and courses, and that's where it kind of grew. So once I said, okay, law of attraction. What does that mean? I want to manifest this. I want to, first of all, heal myself, grieve for not only the loss of the relationship, but the loss of my home, the loss of the job that I just love so much. I mean, it was like the best. It was such a great job. So once I started processing that and I started taking these courses in the law of attraction and learning more about manifestation, I would meet the right people at the right time, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the right, and it was no coincidence. It's like I started doing the work, the right people walked into my life. And I've always had this thing with people's handwritings. I'm a lefty, so I don't have very good
Me too.
handwriting,
Me too.
right?
I was about to say Kathy's a lefty. I'm a righty.
Yeah.
As a lefty, you smudge a lot. You have to have the right
Mm-hmm.
pen because as you're writing, like you righties don't understand. So I've always had a thing with people's handwriting. I just love it. And I love love letters and cards. So I would photograph them like in black and white. It was like a little side project I worked on. And I always had a thing for it. And so you have that already. I'm interested in that. And then learning about the law of attraction. And then one night I heard very clearly in my mind, right as I was falling asleep, that time where you're like almost asleep, but you haven't quite fallen asleep and you don't know if you're dreaming or you're not dreaming yet. And I heard postcards to the universe and I had no idea what it meant, but I knew it was
Perforate the
important.
universe.
Postcards to the universe. I heard it in my head. I got up. It was about 1 a.m. and I went to GoDaddy and I bought the domain name. And it just sat there for a year. And I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, but I just felt that it was like really important. It was something I was supposed to do.
That's
And
such a
then
strong move to go get the domain name because you've been given this message. I love
yes,
that. I read that in your book, and I think that's wonderful.
yeah, because
It's
I
forward
knew it.
thinking.
I knew without knowing why. It just, because it didn't feel like a thought. It felt like a download or the angels or whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm a believer in all that stuff. The angels or God or the universe speaking to me and me being open enough to hear it. So it
Mm-hmm.
felt really important. So I got up and I bought it. And like I said, I didn't do anything with it for like a year. It just sat there. And then I took an 8-week law of attraction course, 8 weeks. And I met somebody who was a copywriter and she helped me start. The website that I have now is different, but my original website and she helped me get clear with what it is that I wanted the website to be, what I wanted the project to be. And from there, it's just grown. So now I get postcards all the time, and I have my book and my second book I'm working on, my radio show. So, and I meet like the most amazing people. Like I'm meeting you two today, and
Mm-hmm.
thank you for having me.
Thanks. We love it.
I do
Thank you.
too. Yeah. Well, uh, I know something about this, but what do you tell people about how to manifest? What does that look like?
Well, I tell people that we're doing it all the time, whether we're aware of it or not. And I think that was the biggest aha that I got when I was learning about it. Most of the time, we're unconsciously manifesting more of the things that we don't want in our lives because we focus on everything that is a problem or not working, right? How much time and mental energy do we spend on, oh, I got to deal with this and this issue's come up. And then we worry and we worry and we think and we share it with our friends and we talk about it with our family and we go over it and over it and over it. And we a lot of times bring in more problems into our life because that's what we're focused on. So the first thing I tell people to do is just take a minute, maybe to get a journal, maybe for a week. Every time you find yourself talking about something that you don't want, like make a nick. You don't even have to write a full sentence. Like, okay, just the date and like check, and see how many checks you have in a day. And you'll be amazed at how much of the negative we are going over and over and over. And then once you kind of understand how you're doing it, then what you got to do is you got to learn how to shift it. And you can't go from let's say that you're struggling financially, right? And you're having issues paying your bills. You can't go from, can I keep my heat on or my air condition on, to I have $100 million in the bank. I mean, you just can't go from that to that
You won't
extreme.
believe it.
You won't believe it, but you can say, I am going to be taken care of and all my bills are going to be paid for this month. You can say that. Just a simple, I'm going to be taken care of this month, and not even worry about next month when the voice goes, well, what are you going to do next month? You're like,
Yeah.
well, let me go there next month, but I'll be taking care of this month. And you just have to start to train yourself. It's kind of like working out. You have to learn how to work out the muscle in your head and catch yourself. There's so many thoughts that go by in our head every day, and it's hard to catch ourselves, but a good indicator of what you're thinking of is how you're feeling. If you feel really bad, if you feel really sad, if you feel really angry, if you feel all of those things, then you kind of know the thoughts that are running, the program that's running in your mind. Yeah.
Right. And with this manifestation, will our lives change? And what happens if we're afraid of change?
Good question. Many of us are very afraid of change. We say we want it. The universe hears us. The universe will bring you what you're asking for. And it may not look exactly like how you imagine. And what you'll do is you'll go, no, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. And then boom, the door's shut because you're really not ready for it. Yes, it does work. It's like anything else. You already are manifesting. So what you want to learn how to do is consciously co-create. That's what I say, co-create with the universe. So yeah, you're co-creating. So my job is to be in alignment. That's another thing. We want to be in alignment energetically with what we want. So a big indicator is worthiness. If we have worthiness issues, if we feel we don't deserve the higher salary or the loving relationship or the different job or the car, the house, or our health, even our health, if we don't feel we deserve to have those things, it doesn't matter how many postcards you make. It doesn't matter how many affirmations you put out there. You have to feel that you deserve to have those things that you want.
That's
Yeah.
powerful.
And it is. And I always tell people, like, when you get to me, I'm the fun part. I'm the get creative. We get to get creative. We tap into that energy and we do our manifesting postcard. But if you're going through something and you're deeply wounded and you have a lot of trauma and you have all this stuff, go and get the professional help, whoever resonates with you that you need. Do that for yourself. Like, make that a priority because worthiness is the biggest issue we all have. And we've all had it at some point in our lives somewhere, right? I don't know anybody who hasn't.
That's great advice. It's really great advice.
Thank you.
Especially for women when they go and they get a job and they're competing with men and they feel that they're pretending. They don't feel that they're worthy. And that's a big issue with women in the workplace.
Yeah, it is. Worthiness is one of the biggest issues I think that we all have. And I think that's why so many of us will settle for less than we deserve because somewhere deep down, we don't believe that we really deserve to have that, whatever, that amazing relationship or, a career we love or, a home we cherish.
Yeah. Well, how do you shift this energy from the negative to the positive? What are the two biggest components in shifting it?
Oh, God, I love these. These are my favorite to talk about. Gratitude is the first one. That's what my workshop is on. I have a manifesting through gratitude workshop that I do online on Thursday evenings. It's gratitude for what you already have is one of the most powerful and fastest ways to manifest more abundance in any area of your life. We take for granted the things that we already have. And all of us do it, If you're listening to this right now and you're watching us on your computer, be grateful that you can have a device that you can watch us on. I mean, many people don't have that. If you can go into your refrigerator and you have food, be grateful for that. Running water. Like, I do a whole thing in my book. I don't know, Kathy, if you've gotten to that part yet, about a shower ritual,
I haven't.
about being grateful for what your body does every day.
Oh,
Because what do we do?
yeah.
What do women do? This is the second component. This is not mine. This was Louise Hayes that I took from her. Mirror work. If you want to shift your worthiness, get in your mirror every morning. No makeup, no hairbrush done. You can maybe get your coffee or your tea, sit in front of your mirror and say affirmations to yourself, and do it for at least 30 days. And you're going to start to see a major shift, because the first thing you're going to do is, oh, look at my hair. I'm going so gray. I need to get my hair dyed. Oh, look at this wrinkle. I look fat today. That's all we say to ourselves, right? Especially women. Those two things, if you do those two things, I say 30 days, but I really think 90 days, like a good 3-month thing, you're going to see a major shift in your own sense of worthiness.
And how many minutes of affirmations are you prescribing?
Well, the way that I was doing it when I first did it, I did it for 90 days straight every morning. And I would do it for
But how
about
many minutes?
10 minutes. Yeah, about 10 minutes,
Oh,
5
really?
to 10 minutes. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I would sit there because I would sit with the uncomfortableness that would come up when I was saying positive things to myself, when my negative mind wanted to say, who are you kidding? See, that's why I would sit. I would make myself. And I would drink my coffee. I would get my coffee first. I had to have my coffee. You drink my coffee and sit there and do it. And it shifted so much.
What did you say to yourself? Like, I'm worthy?
Well, I did the internal, the attributes internally that I have, that I'm powerful, that I'm strong, I'm intelligent. So I went through those. And then of course I did the physicals. You're beautiful. Look at your eyes. They sparkle. Look at your nose. You got such a great nose, so I would start to say these things, and some of them, I was like, okay, I can take that. I can believe that in the beginning. But most of them I was like, and then you feel like, oh, why are you praising yourself like that? Like, all this uncomfortable stuff comes up, which is what you want, because that's what's showing you where you really are inside. Like, I don't know if either of you have children or grandchildren. I don't have children, but I have a niece and a nephew, and I look at my niece, and she's 13 now. She's beautiful. And I see her changing, her looking at herself, becoming critical, and it breaks my heart because, but I could never say the things to her that I have ever said to myself. I'm sure you would never say to your children or your grandchildren if you have. Never, right? You look at them and they're the most beautiful things you've ever seen. We don't do that for ourselves. So this teaches us, and I used to listen to Louise talk about it, because she would go, oh, Louise, you're just so wonderful. I love you so much. And when you would hear her say it, she believed it. She wasn't just blowing smoke. You knew she really got to that point in her life. And I was like, okay, I want to work on that. I want to work on that. So that and gratitude, I think, are the fastest and best way to manifest and shift. And then, of course, like I said earlier, if you have deep trauma, go work with somebody who can help you process the trauma, a professional who knows how to deal with that, because that's important. Yeah.
And what does inspired action mean?
Oh God, inspired action. So inspired action, I look at inspired action as kind of like my creativity. So if there's something that you want, let me put it to you this way. The best way to describe it is, the have-tos on your list, like, oh, I have to go to the store. I have to go pick up my dress. I have to. That's not inspired action. Anything that you do that you get excited about is inspired action. It could even be nervous, even anxiety. Like, if you're an author and you're sending queries out to agents or publishers, you get super nervous about your query letter, about hitting the send button. But if you send it, even though you're nervous and you have anxiety, it's an inspired action because it's taking you to the next level of what, where you want to go and what you want to birth in your life. So, yeah.
Give another example if you can think of one.
Yeah, well, for me, I love to photograph the postcards that I take. So when I get a postcard, somebody will send me a postcard, and whatever it is that they want to manifest, they'll reach out to me. I photograph them sometimes anyway, but sometimes I wait on some. I just kind of go with whatever I'm feeling until I hear from the person who made the postcard and said, "Oh my God, you're never going to believe it, blah, blah, blah. This all happened." And I'm like, then we're going to share your story. And that's what's in the book. There's 30 of those.
That's going to be so exciting for you because when you create this thing and it works for other people.
Yeah. So I'll photograph the postcards. So for me, an inspired action is, just being with that person's, because to me, it's like I take them very seriously. I keep each one I have them in folders and in sleeves, and they're sacred because they're people's dreams, So I'll take a postcard, I set the space of where I'm going to photograph it. I've gotten so much better than I'm re-photographing the postcards in the book.
Well,
because
I tell you what, your website is stunning.
It's beautiful.
We're going to give your website and all that at the end, but I want to make sure everyone goes there and looks at it.
It's so beautiful with all your gorgeous photographs.
The postcard photographs are beautiful.
Yeah, they've gotten so much better.
You've created all these still lifes with them.
Yes,
beautiful.
And you know what? That's the gift that came out of COVID, actually.
Ah.
That was it. Yeah, because I couldn't go out, and I was, and I said, okay, I'm going to come up with something different. And I set the space now, and I actually enjoy photographing the way that I do now, even more than the original ones that are in the book. So as I'm doing I'm re-photographing them, and I share them each week. I call them my magical messages, and I share them each week.
Oh, I love that. Magical messages. Do the people that send you postcards, do they send actual postcards? Do they take a photograph of something and send it to you? Or do they just write you a note on email? What do they look like?
They send an actual postcard. Yes, they send a physical postcard. So what's really cool about it is I'm open. It doesn't have to be a 4x6. I have a couple of examples I can show. Is that all right if I show them?
Sure.
Love to.
Yeah, the people that are hiking. People that are hiking with AirPods won't be able to see them. But
yeah, but if you go on YouTube, so this is one side, one woman created. She's an artist, and this is the other side.
Oh, how fabulous! Would you just
and the stamps down at the bottom?
Yeah, so she sent this to me. Yeah, it's the belly, but hers says the belly buttonless woman, and this is about her health, her body, her health. So she made that postcard. Somebody sent me this big one. Look. This was actually done in a workshop. So you can just be as varied as you want. Yeah, it's a butterfly. But what I ask people to do is to find images, write words as affirmations in the I am or I have, kind of like, so you already, not the I want. Words and affirmations, and look for images that resonate with you, that go along with whatever it is you want to manifest. So if it's, for example, a new relationship, that's the easiest one to describe. People get this. Look for couples that are on their honeymoon holding hands, put that on your postcard. If it's a ring, the kind of wedding ring you want, if you want to get married, like to add all those things to your card. It's kind of like a mini vision board. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. Yeah, everybody's familiar with vision boards now. So yeah, it's like that. And you just do it on one area at a time. I have some people that send me postcards all the time for the trips they want to go on, relationships, homes, I get all these different postcards, and they'll be like, I sent you another one. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited.
Oh, I love that.
I love it.
And I tell people, do whatever speaks to you. I had one artist friend at a workshop. She had little 5x7 wood blocks, and she painted on wood. And that's how she did her postcards. So it's just open to whatever. A really good thing to use is old greeting cards. You know those old greeting cards that some of them we save and some of them we throw out because they're card stock. It's a little bit of a heavier stock. You can use the center of it and you could paste on it. You could paint over it and just reuse it. Yeah.
That's
Love
great.
that. Yeah.
Make your own.
So,
make your own. And take a picture of it and then send it to me. Yeah. Take a picture and then send it to me. And a lot of people have a hard time letting it go.
Oh,
that's especially if it's a whole project.
Is that
you
one
do
of the
have
next,
to let it? Yeah.
Is that one of the next steps we should take? Is to let it go when we need to move forward?
To move forward. And there is a very interesting story in the book, which I won't give it away, but it is about what happened when she released her postcard and how it shifted a major thing in her life. But she was holding on to the postcard and it didn't shift until she actually put it in the mail and it really released it.
Oh,
yeah. You have to read it.
What other kinds of steps?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What other kinds of steps would we take to move forward? Is that just the most important one?
I would find a daily practice that works for you and make it a ritual in your life. Like I have a whole morning routine that I like to do, and I shut my phone off a couple of hours in the morning. I'm lucky I work from home, so I can schedule myself. I know it's not as easy for people some people have to go out and work in an office, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a long thing. Just find a ritual. Start your day off with something that is nurturing your body, mind, and spirit. Whether it's like Julie Cameron's The Artist Way, the morning pages. Some people like to do the morning pages. I did that for a bit. Whether it's reading something that's fulfilling you, inspirationally, even if you love true crime podcasts, maybe don't start off your day with your true crime podcast.
I think that's good advice.
Something that inspires you. If it's meditation or a yoga practice, I love yoga, but I stopped going during COVID and I ended up buying a rower, and I love it. So now I do my rower every morning and then I just do some poses that I love, the poses that I always liked, and stretching. And while I'm doing the poses, that's when I do my affirmations. I say my affirmations.
That's killing two birds with one stone. I love that.
Exactly. So, and it sets me for the whole day. I notice the difference when I don't do it in my mood, So whatever it is, whether it's a morning walk in where you live, I live in South Florida. It's too hot to walk outside for me anyway. I sweat too much.
Yeah. I walk every morning.
I do too. But we're in LA.
You guys have the best weather, that California weather. I know. My friend,
even when it's raining.
But
how is tapping into your creativity one of the most powerful ways to manifesting abundance?
Oh, this is good. So it's like, okay, so when we tap into our creativity, an interesting thing happens. We raise our energy and our vibration because it's almost like little kids playing. If you've ever noticed, and if you're around kids, you'll see that they are master manifestors. They play, they say they want something, and then all of a sudden, somehow it just shows up for them. And you're like, how did that happen? It's like because they're so in that high vibration of attraction, right? We want to attract. So when we get creative, we start to become like we did when we were kids and we were playing. And that naturally raises our vibration, which is what you want to attract those things that you want in your life instead of the low energy things that you don't want in your life. I mean, I'm sure do you ever know anybody who they're always complaining, so they always have something to complain about? That happened to them again because that's where they are. And then you have other people who are always so joyful and everybody loves to be around them because they're so filled with joy and it's genuine. And you're like, ooh, I like that. I want some of that.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
So
Well,
kids are like that. So that's what creativity does. And I
yeah.
noticed when I was doing I did a lot of workshops, in-house workshops before COVID, and I would notice, everybody would come, and I would set the space, and I had all the arts and crafts, and we do writing exercises, and we get clear, and we do our whole thing, and everybody's real serious in the beginning. Hi, I'm so and so, shaking your hand, and we go around the table, and as we start crafting, all of a sudden, you can feel the energy in the room shift. And people are like, "Oh, that looks really cool. I like that. Give me the sparkles, give me this, give me the glitter, give me the kids." And then everything changes. Yep.
Well, on that note, what challenges arise when you decide to shift your energy?
Well, the challenges are something that I think, Kathy, you said before, was that people get afraid of change
Mm-hmm.
because, yeah, it is a little scary. Even though we say we want these things, we get comfortable in our uncomfortableness, really. I mean, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
when you know something, even if you don't necessarily love it, you know it. So it's kind of scary to leave that for the unknown. So that I notice is one of the biggest change people have is they're afraid of really taking that inspired action. Once, they say they want it, but then when it shows up, do you really want it? That's what I always ask everybody in the workshops. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is what you want. Because sometimes things are going to move out of your life and it's not going to be comfortable. If you say
Mm-hmm.
you want a relationship and a relationship to be more loving, it might not necessarily be with your spouse that you already have, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that's sad to say, but that relationship may have to crumble so that makes space for the right person for you. So that's why I say, are you sure you're ready? You know?
Then you can't really know when you're ready unless you try and step forward.
That's
But how do
right.
I identify the subconscious programs that have been running my life?
Well, a good way to see that is okay, I'll do it with money because this was something that I've been working on specifically for me. So, what our money story is, right? We all have a money story. Usually, we inherit our money story from our parents. They inherit it
Mm-hmm.
from their grandparents. It's passed down like the DNA. And my money story was always, we always have just enough and we always have just enough. But that's not abundant. That's not taking me to the
Mm-hmm.
abundant. So I looked at the story and I started to pay attention to what my childhood looked like, how it was with my parents. I mean, we've always been middle class. I have never had to starve, knock on wood, everything. We've always had just enough, but it was never the abundance beyond the just enough. Like, oh no, this came up. I mean, like I said, my special needs sister passed away last year, but there was a lot of stuff that my parents had to deal with financially for my sister Tony. And, sometimes it would get tight, but then right at the last minute, they would just get enough to take care of what they needed to take care of. But there was never the abundant overlay. So I went, that's what my life looks like. My paychecks have been just enough, covers my bills. I can have a little fun, but nothing like extraordinary coming in. So that was a subconscious belief. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people have them with money is, and I say this in the book, this is a big one, money is the root of all evil. If you really follow that belief, you're not going to have money because who wants to be associated with evil? Do you
Mm-hmm.
really believe that?
That's
That's
right.
an unconscious belief.
Yeah.
And that applies in every area of our life. Like if you look at relationships and you don't know what it is to have a healthy relationship, and you're like, well, it's all right, we can have this kind of a relationship because that's the relationship my parents had. That's some kind of a subconscious belief that you don't feel
Mm.
you deserve to have a nurturing, loving, open, communicative relationship. Like, oh, all men are like that. Okay, well then that's going to be true for you, right?
So, what did you do
Yeah.
as far as changing the way you manifested money and abundance?
Well, the first thing was recognize it. That was the first thing. And I really got it. I really understood it. And I looked at where it showed up in my life. And I wrote down, I took a little journal, and it was my money journal. And I wrote down instances where I saw the story represented. So that was the first thing I did. And then after that, what I started to do was I started to catch myself in saying and doing some of the similar things that I was doing in the past that wasn't working. And I would shift it and I would say the opposite. I don't have to worry about money. Money's flowing to me all the time. I'm covered. It's good. It's all good. Just like simple things. And I just kept doing that. And then I started, and I have some games in the book, money games. I started playing money games to bring more
Ooh.
money to bring more money to myself. And one of the games, I think it was Abraham Hicks. I think it was Abraham Hicks, or it was one, I can't remember. So please, whoever knows, I apologize if it wasn't. But when we pay our bills, instead of cringing, like, oh, gotta pay my mortgage or whatever, going, thank you.
That's what I like to do. I
Yeah.
love to do that. Like,
See?
thank you for having money in the account to pay that credit card bill.
Exactly.
I always
Right,
go, that's fabulous.
right.
Yeah, and I thank my air condition every single day
Oh,
living
I
in
bet
Yeah,
you do in
Florida.
Florida.
like, thank you. Yes, my electric bill. Oh yeah, you're looking okay, thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
Now, back to your
Mhm.
postcards for a second. You really
Sure.
talked about how you made a powerful manifesting postcard. Do you have any other examples you can give to us as far as how
You
to
mean
make them?
examples from some of the stories from the book, you mean? You
Yeah,
mean like
well, how do we make one?
Yeah,
okay,
how would we
well
make
that's
one?
If
easy,
it's a
easy,
powerful
easy.
one.
Set your space. And if you go to my website, I know you say you girls were going to mention it. It's
Yeah.
postcardstotheuniverse.com. On there, I have a list of how to create a manifesting postcard, about setting the space. I set the space. Shut your phone off, lock your door. If you live in a house with a lot of people, go in your special room, shut your door, put a do not disturb sign on, or wait till everybody's in bed or nobody's home. I like candles. I use sage. That's my thing. However you want to set it, turn your music on, get your magazines, print out pictures from the internet. Pinterest is great. Get all your arts and crafts and just think about what it is that you want and just start playing and having fun. And what happens is you start to get into it. Throw on some music, pour yourself a glass of wine, whatever you want to do, cup of tea, whatever it is, and you're going to start to feel your energy rise and you'll get excited. You'll be like, oh, I found that picture. That's what I was thinking. I wanted a new house and I want it to look like this. And then you start creating your postcard and then you photograph it and, let me know when you send it to me. But if you sign up, I have a join my movement. I am not a newsletter crazy person. I only send them out very very few. I don't like to bombard people's emails. You get a free gift, and it's like it's for creating a manifesting postcard and also 8 steps in manifesting.
Mm.
It's free. It goes right to your email inbox. For you
And
to.
that's a sign up on the website.
Yeah, if it says to sign up on my website, and my address is on there, so you can send it. And of course, I'm so easy to find. Postcards to the Universe. I'm on everything in Postcards to the Universe. Reach out to me. I always answer emails. I always get back to people who have questions.
Excellent. Tell us a little bit about that now, how you came to write your book, Postcards
So
to the
the
Universe.
book, I was not, it's so funny because that's what I'm saying. You don't know what's going to happen. All I know is I wanted to photograph postcards. That's all I knew I wanted to do when I started. Like, I didn't know I wanted to write a book. I didn't know that I wanted to have a radio show. None of all that came later. I just wanted people to send me postcards. I wanted to photograph them and share them like on social media. Like, that's as far as my thought process went. And then what started happening was I was getting more and more people were reaching out to me, people were sharing their stories. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll make it a book, because somebody said, oh, you really should. You should maybe think about doing a book. And then I did the book. And I took,
Gorgeous book. Here it is for people
thank
that are watching.
you. Thank you
It's
so
Such a
much.
pretty book. It's
it's
such a pretty
Thank
book.
you.
beautiful, like your
Everybody should
website.
grab that.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, please, I would love it. And that's how it started. And I never knew that I would like doing the radio show so much. I
Yeah, talk about the radio show a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
do.
yeah.
exciting.
So the radio show is called Postcards to the Universe with Melissa, Creating the Life You Crave. And I talk a lot about manifesting on my show. And similar to what you ladies do, I'll have authors on, I'll have guests on, and we talk about inspirational things. We talk about, I feature a lot of artists and authors and just out of the box, thinking. I have healers, I have psychics on my show. I have a trance channeler. He trance channels the angels. And he comes
Really?
on. Yeah, he's a regular Gregory on my show. Love him. So yeah, somebody was doing a radio show and I thought, that sounds like fun. I want to try. And I fell in love with it.
And it's
I
just
didn't
in your
know.
immediate area in Florida, isn't it?
No,
Where you
it's online.
can hear it? Oh, you
Oh,
hear
it
it
is
online.
online. How
Oh,
do we
give
get
us
it?
the info. Give us the
How do
info
we-
on that then.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, you can find that on my website too, but it's on Home
Oh.
Times Radio on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. That's Pacific where you ladies are. And that's a live show, but the show is put up on their podcast as the archive. So you can always hear replays of the show. And then I post the show on my website, the archives of the show, the recordings of the show. So people can listen to them
That's great.
anytime they want.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's very challenging to do live radio.
It is because we go on, mistakes and all, and mistakes happen, technically, usually it'll be a technical thing, but I just keep going with it. I mean, what am I going to do,
Well,
Yeah,
presents you with a lot of wonderful
I love that
opportunities.
you do that. Yeah, I love that you do that.
Yeah. So it all stemmed from hearing it one night, Postcards to the Universe, and knowing it was important, and I didn't know why it would be important, and I still don't know where it's going to take me from here. I have no
Well,
idea.
you said you had a new
good
book you're
lesson.
working on called now, would you tell our audience a little bit about that? You said
Yeah. So
you
this
said it was
book,
called. Give them the title.
it's called Everything You Do is a Love Letter to You, and it's going to be it has to do with affirmations. And there's going to be an oracle card deck that goes along with the book that you can either buy with the book or you could purchase alone so there's going to be an oracle deck using my photos. I'm making oracle cards, and it has a lot to do with working on affirmations and all that kind of stuff with the visual component to it.
Oh, that's
Very ambitious.
Yes, which is totally in my wheelhouse. Everything has to have a visual component to it. So that's why I was really surprised I'd like radio so much.
I was about to say that.
I don't see the person face to face, but the fun thing about doing my radio show is I could be in my pajamas and nobody would know.
You don't have to put on makeup.
Yeah, unless you do YouTube too, as well.
Yeah.
Well, no, she's just doing radio.
I don't do it on YouTube. It's only audio. Yep. I don't set it up for. I post it on YouTube, but you can't see us. You could just hear us.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Good. Good for you.
That's great. Well, can you give our listeners a little advice on how to get started today, like right now?
Yes. Well, the first thing I would say is buy the book. No, really, buy the book. But if you don't buy the book, I understand. You can follow along just to let everybody know. If you are on Instagram, I'm not doing it on Facebook. I'm doing it on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn mostly. I'm doing readings from the book. I'm reading the book from beginning to end. So anybody who wants to follow along, please do. I would only ask that you like the videos and maybe leave a comment. That would be great. That's wonderful. But to get started, I would first look at your own life and say, what is it that I am grateful for today? And what do I want to bring more of into my life? And when you know what you want to do and you know what you're grateful for, focus more on that and make a postcard. They're free. That's free. All you got to do is put a stamp on it. Make a postcard about what it is you want to manifest. Send it to me and then reach out and connect. That would be the first thing I would say to do.
That's wonderful. I want to do that. Even though I'm talking to you now, I'm still going to do the postcard. But
They're fun. They really, really are fun, you know?
and what would you like our listeners to have as their main takeaway today?
To just realize that you're worth it. You're worthy. You deserve it. We all do. There's a place for all of us, and there's enough. Get out of that lack mindset that, oh, there's not enough resources, there's not enough money, there's not enough. There's enough. It's plenty. And you deserve it too. So you're worth it. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much. That's
Thank you.
wonderful advice. And I'm going to do the postcard as well. And I hope our audience does too. Thank you so much.
I hope so. And if anybody has any questions and they're like, I don't know what I'm doing, help me, just reach out. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Melisa. Our guest today on Late Boomers has been Melisa Caprio, author, photographer, radio host, and creator of Postcards to the Universe. Her website is so beautiful, as is the cover of her book. Go ahead and buy it. And her website is postcardstotheuniverse.com. Thank you again, Melisa.
Thank you, Mary. And thank you, Kathy. It was a delight. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. We want to ask our listeners to check out our YouTube Late Boomers podcast channel, and please subscribe on there. And also, please give us a 5-star review on your favorite platform. And you can DM us on Instagram, or you can drop us a line at lateboomers.biz, B-I-Z. And we're on Instagram at I am Kathy Worthington, at I am Mary Elkins, and at Late Boomers. We always strive to inspire, entertain, and motivate you. Thanks again, Melisa.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for joining us on Late Boomers, the podcast that is your guide to creating a third act with style, power, and impact. Please visit our website and get in touch with us at lateboomers.biz. If you would like to listen to or download other episodes of Late Boomers, go to ewnpodcastnetwork.com.
This podcast is also available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and most other major podcast sites. We hope you make use of the wisdom you've gained here and that you enjoy a successful third act with your own style, power, and impact.